sunrise and a cup of coffee. Got a special guest today. This is my buddy right here. Come here, buddy. Look at these people. Right here. Up here. You know what? You got to make this more difficult. Anyway, this is Benji. He's my LGD. And he's been looking after me. He's my buddy. But anyway, good morning. We're better together. Cup of coffee and a sunrise. We're going to have to do this later, buddy, okay? He is literally just laying his head on my arm. He's been really looking after me all the time. So he's an LGD, and we have chickens, and he's tremendous. He's an amazingly good trained guard dog. But when you get them, you're supposed to kind of tether them to you so they know what is important to you and this, that, and the other. Well, at the time, me and my wife didn't have any fences up yet, but we wanted to get the LGD because when we let the chickens out, we put him out, and he will literally, I've had a lot of family and friends that have seen this in action. He'll lay out there and look over those chickens like that dog on Wile E. Coyote. He used to kind of look over to, and he'll lay out there and he'll watch, and if he smells something in the woods or whatever, he'll bark and run it off or turn it around. And but birds is the one that amazes me because he'll be laying there, and I won't know it, Leah won't know it, but all of a sudden he'll start raising sand. And I'll look up, and there'll be a hawk circling. And when he starts barking and raising sand, the chickens run for cover. So it works. And the funny thing is, he don't do it for birds that aren't predatory. Crows can fly through, and woodpeckers and all this other stuff, and he don't say a thing. But if a hawk comes through, and I don't know, maybe we've never had the situation with an owl. Maybe he knows an owl is a predator, you know. Anyway, so he does this thing. He'll start barking and raising sand. So anyway, that's my guest today, Benji. And I hope to maybe do a couple of these videos on the move one day if I'm still able while I'm up walking and doing. But it's warm today. Gonna be 80 degrees today. So that'd be the first praise. Sun's out, I'm above ground, and it's gonna be 80 degrees today. I got my El Compadre over here. He's got my back. He ain't gonna let no bears get me or nothing. Second phase of this praise, of course, me and my wife ain't sleeping again. Or again, still. But since we were up early, we were able to get up and have breakfast. And my daughter came in late last night. She joined us for breakfast. Brandon, my son, came in yesterday because, like I said, they're amazing. They keep funneling in and helping and trying to keep my mind off of things, and we're doing. They're going to help me get through today because we got a couple people coming up to help us. We're going to move my bedroom from upstairs to downstairs. It's not my bedroom, it's our bedroom, mine and Leah's bedroom. And got some young, strong, able backs, Josh and Valerie. Josh, because he owes me a life debt. But, hey, fixing to be paid up, brother. Except that I'm passing it on to Leah. But they're going to come up and help us do some stuff and move some things around. And so somebody's going to be a field general for me on that deal because I got to go in and get a second vaccine and get swab. They're going to swab the backside of my brain for COVID again. And then I've got to get some mattresses. We're going to set some beds up upstairs. But anyway, so I got a busy day and a couple phone calls and different things with, the paperwork and the this and the that. And, but anyway, I wanted to kind of move out here today because it's going to be a beautiful day. And I said, you know what, these people would much rather. So this is some of what I get to enjoy and see every day, That little boom, that is the chicken coop, City Coop. The heartbeat of City Coop is them 7 wonderful ladies that bring me my protein in the mornings. Some days every day I don't eat. My sidekick over there is on the move. He's picked up on something. He's walking around smelling. Might be that bird's aggravating him. They start fussing, man. If Ozzy comes out, which is my cat, or Benji, my dog, these birds are like go nuts because I guess they think we all gonna come get their eggs or something. But anyway, that's a big old woodpecker there. He's pretty too. If I wouldn't mess everything up, I'd spin it around and let you see it. But anyway, so this morning, the praises, Brandon's up, gonna help me. Katie's up, Josh and them's coming up. I did get some sleep, a couple hours like I do. Buddy, you're gonna have to lay down. I'm not letting you back in, dude. Not right now. But he's gonna come tell me why I should let him in. But anyway, so I got a couple things I want to go over because I had been telling you guys that song still stuck in my head. It's kind of funny because, like I said, I hadn't listened to the radio in forever. The song's still in my head. It's not in there all the time, but different times during the day. So like yesterday, I couldn't get it out of my head for a while, and I noticed it was when I had I got some hope, and then I got it snatched away from me about as fast as I got it. So then I was kind of right back where I started for a while. So then the song starts driving through my head. But anyway, Lee and I were going in somewhere, and I kind of sang it to her about the part where, because we were holding hands, and her hand fits right into mine like a needle in a groove. But anyway, so I had a bunch of friends send me pictures of the dude and his lyrics. So I actually, keeping my word, man, I'm trying to be a man of integrity. And you know, I know a lot of times people don't ever intend to lie, but we tell people we're gonna do something and then we just get busy and we forget. It's not like we were like, oh, I'm about to tell them this big massive lie. But anyway, this is an opportunity. So this guy right here, Luke Combs, people. So I also pulled a little bio on him. Luke Albert Combs, born March 2nd, 1990. And this is what I love about this dude. This is why me and him connected, and we never even knew each other existed. Born and raised in the Carolinas. It's a good old Southern boy, good old country boy right there. And actually, his home, now he's in Nashville, so that's home for him now. But when he grew up in North Carolina, Huntersville, man, he's just 35, 40 minutes up the road, man. So he probably used to seeing a lot of that. But anyway, he's the only child, I think I read in here. I'm trying to regurgitate that from memory. Yes, as an only child born in Huntersville, North Carolina. So this boy was a neighbor of mine, maybe. Well, I don't know. He probably left a long time ago. Anyway, he also lived in Asheville. And this is another part I like. Man went to Appalachian. So it's a good boy. And to my son Austin, I know he says he ain't watching videos, but check out the beard, dude. Yeah, he's a ginger. He might be trying to hide it with the hat, but he's a ginger, which is another trait from my family. You want to see Luke Holmes? Huh? What do you think? But anyway, so he seems like he's a good dude too, and I like that about him. So I've got the lyrics, and I'm gonna keep them here by my side. And so basically, when you go through these lyrics, at some point in my life or another, they've all applied to me. I even had a 40 horsepower Johnson on a flat bottom metal boat. I've had every boat you can imagine, V-hull, whatever. But anyway, different times, different things. But one, and probably a lot of this really just kind of resonates with me because of, you know, I'm going to be missing my wife and my kids. But it was a match made up in heaven, like good old boys and beer, and me as long as you're right here. So anyway, scratch that one off the list. I at least showed you guys Luke Holmes, and we'll touch on these lyrics. Like I said, you know, every time I go somewhere, it just pops out to me, this part of that song or whatever it be. But I wanted to kind of talk you guys through, you know, I always said I always kind of go to God, and I love to praise him for what he give me. Just look around, man. If you got to go somewhere to die, this is it. So maybe, you know, he brought me to Windsor Run and Kings Mountain just to prepare me for this. But Anyway, I wanted to take you through. You saw the video from yesterday. Well, maybe, I don't know. If not, yesterday I had denounced all hope, and I had said to myself, I didn't say this to myself, but I think in hindsight maybe I was doing this. Um, I was settling for a field goal. I was like, hey God, man, just let me get peace and let me understand and be, live and not moan and groan the whole time I live. Live to die, but to have a purpose in going when you call me. I never did really want to put it out there and say, hey God, I want you to cure it, clear it, gone. And maybe in the back of my head that was some doubt. And maybe I was saying, God ain't big enough to cure it, dude. You need to settle for peace through it. And the reason you struggle and say things like that sometimes is not because maybe you don't really think God can pull off that big miracle, but sometimes people, the miracle ain't the right answer. We ask God, and a lot of times, sometimes he's not saying no, but he ain't saying yes right now. He's got a plan. So at the end of the day, I did need the peace more so than the miracle. But yesterday when I went in there and I talked to the guy, and I said, hey man, when you run these PET scans, how many cats come in here and been diagnosed death's doorknob, stage 4, and then this PET scan comes back with no cancer? I said, does that happen ever? And he said, it happens. He said, it does. He said, but unfortunately, man, it never happens with a positive culture from the fluid. When they get 7 liters off your bladder and they pull a culture from that and it's positive, he said, I've never seen that. I said, well, dude, my test came back inconclusive. And he goes, really? He goes, well, maybe you one of the ones, dude. So anyway, I'm like, man, there's some hope, man. God's in this. And the other part of that was when I woke up yesterday, man, every morning I wake up and it's like 51 dates with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. Every morning I wake up and I get cancer again. Every morning. So I had that hope. I had kind of settled on, yeah, God, we're just going to deal with the peace through the process, and I'm coming home. But I had been given hope yesterday, man, and I grabbed that sucker with both hands, people. Because when I woke up yesterday, I was like, man, I can't possibly feel this good and have cancer. There's no way. I said, something's wrong. So now I'm asking for the miracle, right? And my wife told me, okay, buddy, after you get done with your test, if you don't get a phone call and we end up going in Monday to review this, then there's no good news. She said, but if we get a phone call between now and then, she said, something's come back and they want to talk to us now. And I want everybody to know, I have never gotten so many personal phone calls from physicians that are dealing and interacting with me. They genuinely care. So I don't want people thinking like they're not doing anything, because, man, they have shotgunned my stuff all over the place. They're consulting with everybody. They're trying to find that Hail Mary, dude. They're working for me, and I appreciate that. So me and my wife were sitting in the parking lot after, we took it, and I get these doctors confused. I don't know who does what. There's a lot of them, man. And like I said, they are working so diligently for me. But this one, and he's the coolest cat ever, man. He's got a similar story to mine with my mom. My mom was adopted and searched for years and couldn't find her family and blah, blah, blah. He was adopted. And for his whole life, he grew up thinking he was Italian and found out he ain't. And I mean, if you talk to this dude, he picked it up, though, because he looks it and he talks it. But doing his genealogical research, he found out he's not. what he thought he was. He's still who he thought he was, but he's not what he thought he was. So anyway, guy calls me because he's awesome, and he's like, when the phone rang, Leah goes, "This might be the doctor." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute, you said he wouldn't call unless he had good news." So I'm grabbing into that hope. And the doctor's like, "Hey, so here's what's up. Your belly, your abdomen is lit up with cancer, dude. It's, yeah, you got it. There's no doubt, no doubt about that." And so I'm like, "Oh, God, okay." And he said, "But we can't find it anywhere in the organ. We don't see it in the pancreas. We don't see it in the heart, the liver, the lungs. You just got it in the abdomen, which means it's stage 4 because it started somewhere else and it's progressed, right?" He said, and he didn't imply, he didn't lead me to believe, he didn't give me any false hope. He gave me the truth, and that's what I appreciate about these doctors. They're just giving me the truth. This thing's just working against them, and they're having trouble figuring it out. So, and that's okay. I'm a maintenance guy, man, and I think I'm a darn good one. I can fix anything that I want to fix. Don't tell Leah that part, because a lot of times I'm like, I can't do that. I don't know nothing about that. But there are times when I struggle to fix things for several days. Everything's not black and white. It's not easy, you know? So I can only imagine when you're working with the different humans and human anatomy in the body. So I get these guys are doing everything they can. So he's like, "So we need you to come back in. I'm going to call some more doctors, and we're going to make this happen ASAP because the clock is ticking." He said, "But we won't come in and do a lipo, and I'm going to go right into a freaking cancer node, and I'm going to get it." He said, and we're going to send it off, and we're going to find out something." I'm like, "Okay, great." So I get off the phone with him, and me and Leah are like, "Hey, man, this is great. Man, I got hope. Maybe chemo is an option. Maybe I can get 2 years." Benji's really bored with all this talking, y'all. He wants some belly rubs and stuff, and I ain't messing with him right now. But anyway, so we had hope. And then I get a phone call from Dr. Cox, and she's a sweetheart, man, and she's feeling my pain, and she's trying to help. But anyway, so she's talking me through. She goes, "I'm going to get you in here. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to clear some other things out of the way. And I want you to come in, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to look around. I'm going to grab that node, and I'm going to see if there's anything else funky that I can figure out. And we're going to put a port in for chemo." And I'm like, "Hold up. Where'd the port come from?" While we're putting a port in for chemo, we ain't even talked about anything, really. You know, I mean, we've talked, and I've had a bunch of people look at it, but I mean, we hadn't talked about here's what we think it is, and here's what we think we need to do. She goes, and I'm like, "The guy said it wasn't in an organ, so I'm thinking that's a better situation." She goes, "No, we still think it's pancreatic cancer." And I'm like, because that's the deal breaker. Not the deal breaker, but that's the hard one that's the one that's going to be, it is the deal breaker for me. But I was like, so we talked, and I got all broke up again, not on the phone with her, but then I got off. I called my wife. I'm trying to tell my wife what I heard, and my wife's like, "Hold up, dude. You don't even really understand what you heard, and you're trying to explain it to me, and you're just really messing things up." And because she starts asking questions that I didn't think to ask, and then I start saying answers, but they weren't the answers I was giving because I didn't ask. So I'm like, "I don't know, dude. You need to call them." So anyway, and I'm pretty sure Leah had already decided she was going to call them before I told her that, because I do butcher the story, dude. I can't help it. But so anyway, so then I'm like, "Oh man," she told me it's pancreatic. So the rest of the day, I'm trying to work and do stuff to keep my mind off of it, and that ain't happening. So I just went into a dark place again because I bought into the hope, and then it was taken away from me again. So all day I'm stressing out, and then we had to go meet with a couple other people and this and that. And anyway, so the doctor calls us back again, and Leah's there, and I'm there, and Brandon's there, and we're all just interrogating her like she's the enemy. I feel sorry for her, but that's not what we're doing, really, and that's not what we're thinking. And I know that's probably what she's like, oh, but so at the end of the conversation, I said, all right, so just to confirm that I understand where we don't see it in an organ. I said, so the pancreas, we have not seen through multiple ultrasounds, CTs, blah, 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 and now PET scan, we have not seen, my kids are walking up in the house, they're here, it's kind of bizarre, but anyway, we have not seen cancer in my pancreas in a PET scan. And she said, no, we don't. I said, we have not seen a mass of cancer in the CTs. And she said, no, we do not. We have not. I said, we have not seen the cancer in my numbers. Now, I can't remember, but there's like a lipo or some kind of number, or lipodes. They're off the chart still for my pancreas. But there's another number, my pancreas number, that's in normal range. And she's like, no, we don't see it in that. And I said, doctor, I just want to add this to the mix. I want you to know that this morning I woke up with absolutely no pain. I said that I don't feel like I have cancer. I said, but we do know it's all in the abdomen. So I asked her, because my kids are Googling and I'm Googling. I said, there is this thing, and I shouldn't say this. I think I maybe alluded to this, but anyway, Jimmy's going to have way more fun with this than he should. But nobody listens to Jimmy anyway, right? That's for you, Brett Neal. Jimmy's the pastor that everybody basically is, like, oh, well, Jimmy says this. Probably we should do the opposite of what Jimmy says, but I'm just picking. Jimmy's great. But anyway, I don't even know why I got off on that little side tangent with Jimmy. I guess I just did that for Brett. And some others that reached out, because a lot of people are evidently busting Jimmy's chops is probably why I have as many people as I do watching it. Evidently, everybody likes to see Jimmy get chopped on. But so anyway, at the end of that conversation, we don't see it in the organs. It's just in the abdomen. So I asked her about this thing that I read. That's why I was starting in on Jimmy, because I shouldn't say this. So my mom had ovarian cancer. So a lot of what I'm looking at presenting is late stage of ovarian cancer, which is kind of funky, but there is a rare opportunity that males can have that gene, I think. So I don't know. But if that's the case, there could be possibly, I'm still in a short window, but I might have a longer window. I may be looking at a couple more months and such if I do a treatment option that may be available. So that being said, there's giving me hope. And then there's also a possibility that it could be lymphoma. I don't know what that means. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was a roller coaster yesterday, man. They gave me hope, and they didn't give me anything, but we determined that there was hope. Then they snatched it back from me, and it put me way back in a hole. And I'm going to tell you guys, and I won't maybe touch on this later, but this is something that I really hope and pray that nobody struggles with if they're in this situation. But all my life, man, I woke up and I found a joy in every day. And I've never, ever, ever thought about suicide, ever. And I haven't in this process, but one time, one day. And that's just truth. They ask you every day, have you ever thought about suicide? In these questionnaires for all these procedures I'm having, have you ever thought about suicide? I've said no all my life. And I lied to him Monday. When I had my colonoscopy, the day after Sunday, my son was sitting there, and I told him no. And I had Sunday, I thought about how much easier this would be possibly on everybody involved. But then God worked me through that, and I know that's not an answer, and I know that's a coward's way out. But anyway, so that's where we're at today. But before I shut this down and leave you guys, because I got a lot I got to get going on, a lot of people are reaching out and sharing some great things with me, and one of them was a story in Job, and I read through it, And actually, I had told my wife I wanted me and her to read through it today before she headed out, but we got busy and doing this, that, and the other. And I honestly think my wife is kind of dodging sitting down and reading the Bible with me like a bullet. But I get that, I do. So if she ever watches this video, if we didn't get back to the story in Job, you're getting it now. But in this, it's in my Bible, which I'm going in the Bible that was given to me by my sister-in-law, Kim Coulter, a long, long time ago. But it's the Holman Christian Standard. And the story is Job 2. And this, in mine, is kind of labeled Satan's Second Test to Job. And I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but I'm going to read this third verse, because this, when I was in that dark place yesterday, I read this. So you guys, when y'all are sending me these encouraging things, and I've been where you are, and I've sent things to people, and I'm like, I don't really know why I'm sending this, but I'm going to send it. Try to lift them up. You never would know what God's doing with that message on the other end, so don't be afraid. But in Job 2:3, it says, "Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? No one else on earth is like him, man of perfect integrity, fears God, and turns away from evil. He still retains his integrity, even though you incite him against me to destroy him without cause." And that just resonated with me, because at the end of the day, and in the chapter it talks about it, it asks Satan, basically, where are you at? And he says, I'm all over. I'm roaming the earth, brother. I'm trying to take y'all out every day, all day. So I kind of can relate to Job in this, because of I know that, like I said, the cancer's not of God. The cancer's of Satan. The getting through it, and the peace, and possibly that Hail Mary miracle cure, those are from God. Hoping that this video is from God. I'm hoping at the end of the day, maybe I'm a believer. I know where I'm going. I know my soul is right. But if God puts me through this, and I put these videos out, and 10,000 people look at them, that would be great. But if only one has a life-changing experience through it, and gets on his knees and asks God into his heart one day, and changes who he is and starts living for the day, it'd be worth it, right? Huh? I mean, one lost sheep comes into the fold, that's gain. But anyway, so I'm gonna part now, because I want to go see my kids, and I want to get the day started. And Benji's had enough of this nonsense on the porch. He's looking at the door hard, about to stare a hole through it. He probably got a treat in there he can get to, because that youngin', I love my dog, but everything that drives him is food. He can eat all day long if you let him. But anyway, I just want you guys to, because a lot of people, everybody reaches out to me and asks me this all day, every day. So y'all know what I'm doing and what I got going on today, and where I'm at spiritually in my walk. Continue to pray for Leah, continue to pray for the kids. And man, I'm gonna ask you, warriors, because I told Jimmy yesterday, from the people who have reached out and text, I don't look at the YouTube stuff and views and none of that, or the likes or the comments. I just stay away from that. I have looked just to see, how many people actually have looked at this thing. But other than that, I'm staying away from it too. I'm kind of like my kids. I just record them and send them on. But at the end of the day, I know that I have heard, at least I think, man, there's like 15, 20 churches. The whole church bodies are lifting me in prayer. Hundreds of people are reaching out to me all day, every day. They want to come see me. They want to pray for me. How can I pray for you? And I'm going to keep doing these videos if you think they're stupid, because a lot of people are saying, no, dude, people need to, you're doing God's will. It wasn't just a crazy thing you couldn't get out of your head because you're an idiot. we think maybe it was God telling you that this is the last way that you can reach and do. And like I said, if I can get one of you, I might even do an altar call for us over with. Maybe I'll have a guest appearance with somebody and say, hey, here's how you do it, man. You just get on your knees and you ask him. He comes, he's right there waiting. He's ready to open the door. So we might, maybe one day we get to that. But anyway, today, pray for my family. Pray for peace for me and them. And pray for the people that are coming up to help us this weekend, that we can be mindful with the time. And I'm going to say this too. It's right now. It's just because of who I am. People reach out to me. I want to come see you. I'm like, come on, dude. I'm here all day, every day. I ain't going nowhere. Well, I do have appointments, and I forget that when I say come on. And I've already told a lot of other people come on. So I'm going to try and start looking at scheduling some things, and because so many people are reaching out, because I got to still find time for me and the kids. And I don't want it to turn into a circus, but I love y'all so much. I want to see you. So God's going to work it out to where we can have the best of both of those too, where I can see each and every one of you and not make it be a circus anytime the kids are here, you know. So we're going to work that out. I'm going to work it out with the kids, but work's got to get done. And that's what's driving me too. So pray for those things. And y'all watch the video. Y'all know how y'all can pray for me right now. And pray that Benji gets a freaking treat in the near future, man, because he's going to starve to death. But anyway, I'm going to leave y'all with that. It was 31 minutes, so we're creeping back up to a long video. Today, I just got to get that vaccine. I got to get the backside of my brain swabbed again. Got to try and get some mattresses. I think Brandon and Katie are going to be some field generals and kind of help me get. Benji decided it needed to back this video camera up a little bit. It might be a good thing. That's, you know, finding that silver lining and everything. Benji's my assistant videographer. But just pray that the things we got up against us today works out. And you know what, guys? I'm going to pray for y'all. I'm going to pray that whatever came out of this video, somehow it touched you. Maybe you're not up against stage 4 cancer today, but maybe that verse in Job helped you, because Satan's testing each and every one of us all day long. And maybe it might just be that on the way to work today, you're running late. But I don't know what it be, but I just hope that can help you guys somehow. But anyway, thank you. You guys have been such an encouragement to me. And my wife kind of called me out a little bit today. She goes, no, I can't help but notice that your F3 boy's been reaching out, and all of a sudden there's some F3 merch in the video. But I've had this merch. Let me quick plug, and then I'm gonna shut it down, I promise. Altar Boy reached out to me a couple days ago, and just, as so many F3 guys have. And Blindside, I hope to see you in the Allowed yoga pants one more time too, brother. We pulled that fire truck, but anyway, Altar Boy reaches out to me, and he was looking at some pictures, and he was like remembering some of the things that we had gone through together many years ago. And Altar Boy, and this is a quick shout out, I'm gonna let some F3 brothers know he don't share this story much, and I hope this don't hurt you, Altar Boy. I really don't want to, but he shared a story with me that I thought it was the funniest thing. But like, I can't remember in the beginning, they gave him the name like Church Flame or something. I don't know what it was, and he started getting a lot of backlash because what he did for a career. If you Google Church Flame or something like that, it was just, anyway, it ended up being a horrible thing. So anyway, they changed it to Altar Boy. But we were having a lot of good conversation. But the first time I think I wore this F3, I got several F3 toboggans and stuff, and I did get rid of some of the gear, guys, because I didn't think I'd ever be able to post with you again. But I think they're planning to come up here and we're going to post. And I might even try to get after it. You know, I don't know. I'm telling them we're definitely going to circle up. That's not going to be an option. F3 ain't coming up to my house, and we're not going to circle up, because I finally, one of the things that you used to look forward to when we go around the circle, if you was old as dirt, right? If you was 50 and over, the rest of the crowd, tell them, dude, they going to give me some respect in that circle, ain't they, buddy? Benji wants y'all to give me my respect in that circle. But anyway, so at the end of the day, there's a shout out. So my wife's like, you got to stop these shameless plugs in your video. You ain't all that yet. And my wife also clued me into, she ain't watching the videos, but I guess she goes and sees who's following or whatever, I don't know. But she noticed that there were black lines down. She said, you need to turn the phone. Just turn the phone. And she gave me this stand. So anyway, I turned the phone. I got the stand. But so anyway, I just wanted to share those quick stories with you guys. And I got to go. Benji's fussing at me. He's got stuff to do. But y'all have a good day. And God bless you, and I'll see y'all soon.